The warehouse lights flickered, buzzing like angry insects above their heads. Detective Jordan held her gun steady, but Lila could see it, the tremor in her hands. Not fear, recognition. "Caleb," Jordan whispered, voice cracking in a way Lila had never heard from a detective before. "What did you do?" Caleb lifted his hand slowly, turning toward the light. Rain dripped from his hair, his clothes torn from running. "I didn't bring them here," he said. "They were already coming. For you, Jordan. For both of you." Lila's heart hammered. "Why her? She's a detective. She wasn't even part of this." Caleb's eyes softened, sad, guilty, almost pleading. "You think St. Mary's only kept files on kids?" He stepped closer. "They kept files on everyone who got too close. Jordan was investigating disappearances 3 years ago. They shut down her case and wiped the evidence." Jordan stiffened. "You're lying." Caleb shook his head. "You think your suspension was about budget cuts?" "No, it was them." Lila stared at Jordan, watching the realization hit like a cold wave. "You were marked," Caleb whispered, "just like Lila." Outside, engines roared. Multiple vehicles. Doors slammed. Boots on gravel. Detective Jordan motioned to them both. "We need to move. Back exit. Now." But as they turned, Lila froze. Something glinted under a metal table. A familiar brown folder. Her folder, case number 47. She grabbed it instinctively, cradling it like a lifeline. Jordan reached for her arm. "Leave it!" "No!" Lila snapped. Jordan didn't argue. Instead, she scanned the basement, her gaze sharp, calculating. "We go through the storage corridor." She raised her gun. "Stay behind me." They rushed down a narrow hallway lined with broken medical equipment and dusty boxes labeled with numbers. Lila's breath caught. "Caleb, these are the other kids?" He nodded once, haunted. "I tried to save them. I really did." Before she could respond, a heavy thud shook the metal door behind them. Then another, and another. Someone was trying to break in. Jordan motioned toward a stairwell. "Upstairs! Move!" They sprinted up the steps as the door behind them buckled. The moment they reached the top floor, a spotlight blasted through the broken windows. Someone shouted, "Drop your weapons!" Mrs. Whitmore stepped from the shadows, flanked by 2 men in tactical gear. Jordan raised her gun again. "You're under arrest for kidnapping, embezzlement, child endangerment." Whitmore laughed softly. "Oh, Jordan, you still believe this is about children?" She looked at Lila. That same floral smile twisted into something darker. "This has always been about memory and obedience." Whitmore snapped her fingers. A metal door behind them slammed shut automatically, sealing them inside. Caleb lunged forward. "What are you doing? She's just a kid." Whitmore's eyes hardened. "Correction. She's the one subject who resisted the protocol." Lila's breath caught. "What protocol?" Whitmore stepped closer, her perfume sweet, suffocating, poisonous. "The one your mother tried to expose. A beat. And the one you're about to complete." Caleb pulled Lila behind him, voice shaking with fury. "You're not touching her." Whitmore looked almost amused. "Oh, Caleb, you still think you matter in this story?" She gestured to the men. "Bring him." The guards moved fast, too fast. One grabbed Caleb by the arms, slamming him against the wall. The other reached for Lila. Jordan fired. The gunshot ricocheted off a metal beam. "Let her go!" she shouted. Whitmore didn't flinch. "You can't stop Phase 2, Detective Reyes." Her voice dripped with triumph. "You were never meant to." Then she pulled something from her coat, a syringe, filled with clear liquid, and pointed it straight at Lila. Lila screamed, backing away, but the guard grabbed her wrists, pinning her down. "No, please, let me go." Whitmore crouched in front of her, eyes glowing with satisfaction. "This won't hurt. It'll simply..." She touched Lila's cheek. "Erase what never belonged to you." Jordan charged forward, but one of the guards hit her with a stun baton. She collapsed, gasping. "Jordan!" Caleb roared. Whitmore leaned closer. "Say goodbye to the truth, Lila." The syringe lowered toward her skin. Before the needle touched Lila's arm, A thunderous crash exploded behind them. The entire far wall of the warehouse shattered inward, metal and dust flying everywhere as a black SUV rammed through. Whitmore stumbled back. The guards shielded their faces from the debris. Caleb dove forward, trying to reach Lila. Jordan lifted her head weakly. And Lila stared, wide-eyed, as the SUV door swung open, and a woman stepped out. Same dark eyes, same jawline, same face from the photograph in her case file. The woman whispered her name like a prayer. "Lila, get away from her." Lila's world stopped. Her mother was alive. The woman stepped forward, dust settling around her boots. Her eyes locked on Lila, wide, trembling, filled with a lifetime of grief. "Mom?" The word fell from Lila's lips like she was learning to speak again. Her mother nodded once, sharp, determined. "I'm here, baby. I'm not letting anyone hurt you again." Mrs. Whitmore's smile vanished. "Well," she hissed, "that complicates things." The two guards moved instantly, guns raised. But Lila's mother didn't flinch. She lifted her hand slowly and revealed a badge. Federal Investigations Bureau, Child Exploitation Task Force. Jordan gasped from the floor. "Agent Grant?" Lila's mother nodded. "Detective Reyes." A beat. "I've been looking for your case files." Whitmore's face twisted. "You were declared unstable, unfit, removed from her life by court order." "By your forged documents," Agent Grant snapped. "The same ones we traced here." She stepped closer, voice low, lethal. "You took my daughter. You drugged her. You erased her memories. And you thought I would stop looking?" Whitmore scoffed. "You ran. We covered your tracks. The state believed—" "No," Grant interrupted sharply. "You covered your tracks, but you forgot something." She pointed at Lila. "You forgot she has my memory. Not the suppressed one you built, the real one." Whitmore tensed. "That girl remembers nothing." Lila shook her head, but her mother smiled. "That's where you're wrong. She remembers everything you forced her to forget." Lila blinked, confused, lost. I don't—" Her mother leaned in. "You don't remember with your mind yet, sweetheart. You remember with instinct. That's why you ran. That's why you found the file. That's why you survived." Behind them, Caleb moaned, pinned to the ground by a guard. Jordan pushed herself up, one arm limp, teeth gritted. "What do we do?" she whispered. Agent Grant's jaw clenched. "We end this." "Enough," Whitmore barked. "This ends now." She lunged for Lila, syringe still in hand. Agent Grant fired, not at Whitmore, but at the ceiling. A shower of sparks rained down as the lights burst, throwing the warehouse into stuttering darkness. Jordan, despite her injuries, tackled one guard. Caleb, seizing the moment, slammed his head back into the other guard's chin, breaking free. Whitmore shrieked, "Stop them! Now!" But Lila was already moving. The girl who once feared every shadow now ran straight toward the one woman who had haunted her life. Whitmore swung the syringe wildly, but Lila dodged. She grabbed Whitmore's wrist, twisting with all the strength survival had carved into her bones. The syringe flew across the floor. Whitmore stumbled, and Lila stared into the eyes that had watched her suffer. "No more secrets," Lila whispered. "No more experiments. No more stolen childhoods." Whitmore spat blood. "You were never meant to remember." Lila stepped closer. "That was your mistake." The guard Jordan fought crumpled. Caleb pinned the second to the ground. Agent Grant cuffed him in two swift motions. Whitmore reached for her coat pocket, another syringe. But Lila stopped her. She didn't hit Whitmore. She neutralized her. Whitmore crashed to the floor, breath knocked from her chest. Agent Grant cuffed her hands behind her back. Jordan exhaled shakily. "It's over." Lila's mother shook her head. "No, this is just the arrest. The justice comes next." The file room. With Whitmore captured, Agent Grant led them deeper into the warehouse, down a locked corridor. She kicked the door open. Inside, thousands of files, hundreds of names, stacks of medical records, photos of children, photos of mothers, families broken, identities stolen, truth buried. Jordan covered her mouth. "Oh my God!" Caleb stared at the wall, tears streaming. I helped build this, he whispered. I didn't know. Agent Grant placed a hand on his shoulder. You helped end it. Lila stepped forward. In the center of the room sat a metal crate. Case Romer 100, the first case. She lifted the lid with shaking hands. Inside, a photo of her mother holding her as a newborn, a hospital bracelet with her real last name, a letter never delivered. Lila read the first line aloud. If they ever take you, don't let them rewrite who you are. Her mother touched her face with trembling fingers. I thought I lost you. Lila broke into quiet, shattering sobs. You didn't. I just forgot. Her mother pulled her into a tight, raw embrace. A decade of stolen years collapsing into one moment. By morning, state troopers, feds, and child welfare investigators swarmed the property. Whitmore was dragged into a cruiser, screaming. Her guards were taken into custody. The files were seized. Lila watched all of it from the steps of the warehouse, wrapped in her mother's coat. Jordan approached her, exhausted and bruised. You're safe now, the detective said softly. Lila nodded. For the first time, I believe that. Caleb walked up timidly. I know you may never forgive me, he whispered, but I'm going to testify. Everything I know, everything they made me do. Lila looked at him, the boy who had once betrayed her trust, then risked his life to save it. I don't know how I feel yet, she said honestly, but thank you for choosing the right side in the end. He nodded, tears falling freely. Agent Grant stepped closer. You're coming home with me, Lila. The real home. The one they took you from. Lila wiped her eyes. Do I have siblings? Her mother smiled through tears. You have. A lot of people who never stopped waiting for you. Lila exhaled shakily. For the first time, the future didn't feel like a question mark. It felt like a door opening. Sometimes the truth isn't hidden in darkness. It's hidden in plain sight, in locked drawers, in false smiles, in systems built to protect themselves instead of the children they claim to serve. But justice, real justice, it starts with one person brave enough to pick up a file and say, this stops with me. Lila didn't just reclaim her past, she reclaimed her future, the future of every child they tried to silence. If Lila's story moved you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe. And tell us in the comments, what would you have done if your memories were stolen? Because in the next story, another truth is waiting to be uncovered, and it might be closer to your world than you think. Thank you for watching the Foster Home Files. More Untold Justice stories are coming next.